Welcome back everyone to Borderlands 2. This is the 36th episode of Rainy Day Let's Play. I'm Solon, and it has been a long time since we actually got back to doing this whole Let's Playing business. Speaking of which, if you notice my level, it's 28. Kinda decided to go rogue on this one. Didn't really... There was a lot of quests I had that just didn't really have anything going on to them, to the point to where I just... basically, I did Fink's Slaughterdome, which took about 2 hours, maybe 2.5. I'm slow. Understand. I really wanted to get every headshot. And so it ended up leveling me up a lot. This was actually really perfect because it meant that I could actually go straight on to the story mode quests. I don't have to really wait for anything else anymore. So that's what we're gonna do now. We'll also probably get distracted and do other stuff. I mean, we've got quests all over the place, so might as well see what's up.
It's a giant skag. Oh God, what does it want? What the hell do you want?
A giant skag? I want to go there. Oh, perfect, it's right back in Lynchwood. I feel like I know what it's talking about. That's awesome. This is actually straight off from the last episode. It's almost like you didn't miss anything. I mean, because you didn't, you know? Alright, off to the dust. Wait, dust? Oh crap, I wanted to go to Lynchwood. Alright, whatever. Anyways, we're gonna run through this episode, and in parts where it's going to be all kind of boring, like driving around and going to the wrong places and BS like that, we're going to talk about cel-shading in Borderlands 2, because that's something I haven't even talked about yet. We're 36 episodes in, and I haven't even really, like, referenced the graphics of the game. And, I mean, they are something that's very special. Freaking, can't believe I went to the wrong place. Alright. I just followed the stupid marker. Alright, I want to do Demon Hunter. I don't want to do... Yeah, whatever. Alright, so I would assume you've noticed, but the graphics that you are looking at right now for Borderlands 2, they have a name. It is commonly known as cel-shading. Cel-shaded graphics are named for the cartoony look, and it has this reminiscent feel of how celluloid used to be used traditionally for painting hand-drawn cartoons. The real magic, though, is that cel-shading is not a graphical technique. It's actually centered around how the lighting is rendered. This is important because to make a cel-shaded game, you first have to make a 3D game. On top of that, lighting is, well, I have to say, the single most powerful tool that we have in visual mediums, as it even affects the perception of color. So to make a cel-shaded game means to fundamentally change your game in every way, down to even how it's lit. And I mean, I've probably gone on about this before, but I make no mistake that in visual medias, lighting is probably the most important factor. Like, more than color, more than tools or anything else, lighting is like the very first thing. Lighting is the difference between whether something exists or doesn't exist. Like, first there was light, and then there was everything else. Oh god, this is... okay. That's awesome! I mean, I don't know if... I don't want to kill Dukino's mom. That sounds horrible. Oh, they're gonna make me kill Dukino's mom. Alright, well... what has to be done has to be done, I guess. I wish there was another way. Maybe I can just kill these guys. Maybe she'll stop attacking me because I'm gonna... oh god, giant laser beams of death! Oh! Oh yeah, so... I think that I'm gonna actually have to kill Dukino's mom. I mean, I see the yellow health bar, and I'm pretty sure if I'm remembering right, yellow just kind of means... it's not like friendly or enemy or anything like that, it's that it like has some kind of resistance, if I'm remembering right. I don't remember what yellow means, but... Oh man, there's nothing else to kill. I guess I'll have to attack the mom. Or maybe I'm just not skilled enough to think of a better way around this. Okay, laser beams, bad. But opening mouth after laser beams, good. Guess we'll just have to... nothing to kill around... Oh, I see a dot pop up right when I'm about to die. Oh well. We'll get him in the next round. Okay, so back to talking about Cel-Shading. Big question. So, why choose Cel-Shading? Since the Dreamcast, which was the first use of Cel-Shading graphics, they blew us away with Jet City Radio. The cartooniness of Cel-Shading has run the gamut of styles and genres, from No More Heroes, Zelda Wind Waker, Okami, all the way to the very well-named Cell Damage, Beautiful Joe, The Walking Dead, even the new Pokemon X and Y. They've both been confirmed for Cel-Shading graphics, all in completely different ways. One part of the magic of Cel-Shading is under the hood. For a game like Okami, it was easier for developers with the limitations of the PS2 to use a cel shader rather than to render the game in like a much bigger 3D, full stunning, everything hand-drawnness. There are videos though, and they are mind-blowing. I have no sources about why Gearbox personally and individually went with cel shading for Borderlands and Borderlands 2, especially because the original Borderlands trailer and how it was originally advertised, they started that as non-cel shaded cutscenes and then abruptly changed their tune. So with the size and power of Borderlands, I guess there's a way we could speculate that part of this may have been simply a processing power limitation than making a bigger 3D game. In what way bigger is different between cel-shaded and non-cel-shaded games, I really don't quite understand. As far as I know, it's mostly aesthetic purposes though. So that's our other reason why you choose cel-shading, is that changing how your entire game is perceived is a really big decision. And it may require more reason than just a space, like a memory reason or some hard drive reason or technical reasons. Especially when in the PC version of this game, you can actually make your game run faster by turning off the outliner and the shader that are part of this game and are a huge part of what creates the whole aesthetic of Borderlands 2. So if you can create that different look altogether, I guess the other big reason for choosing cel-shading would have to be for an aesthetic purpose. You have Robin Hunick and Marc LeBlanc. They created a framework that anyone can use to analyze games, and it focuses primarily on three things: mechanics, dynamics, and aesthetics. This is like the MDA model of looking at games. So the player consumes, in their model, the player consumes the aesthetic first and foremost. This means the cartoonish look is very important from a design perspective. Oh, come on. You're like right there. There we go. Going down, one, going down, two. Perfect. Oh dear. See, I didn't want to, but I just wish I had a few more options right there. It's okay, Dukino's here.
Oh, great! Now you're wasting ammo!
It's so cute every time! I love it. I love it. And we get another cool sniper rifle. Okay, anyway, now we're gonna actually head to Eridium Blight and actually do the story mode quests, since might as well. Nice little side quest to distract us. Bye, Dukino. I'll see you later, dude. Howdies. Anyway, so you have aesthetic reasons to choose to make a cel-shaded game, and it's a very not consumer but player-based reason. The person interacting with the product, the very first thing they see is that it's going to be a cel-shaded game. and that's definitely a part of the what's been analyzed as the mechanics dynamics aesthetic model, the MDA model. You can look that up, it's super cool. So for video games specifically, there are only two ways, at least right now, only two real ways to do true hand-drawn graphics, or something similar to hand-drawn graphics. Either via a 2D game with sprite animation, such as a fighting game like Darkstalkers, or a side-scrolling game like Muramasa the Demon Blade, or you can do it via linear cutscene-driven gameplay like Don Bluth's Dragon's Lair, which is a totally beautiful game and has a very clear aesthetic that uses the hand-drawn principles clearly. And that's like old school. So this means the best way to do cartoonesque visuals in a 3D game like a first-person shooter is through cel-shading. It's a very cheap and simple and quick way. I mean, I'm trying to think of other games. I'm not sure if Mad World counts, but it could be close. Gotta hit that pink. Alright, I guess we'll go in the saw blade technical today. I usually go for the light runner because it's just faster and less bulky. This thing's really meant for moving around a whole bunch of players at once. Usually it just drives into shit though. Here we are. Now we're at Eridium Blight. No harm, no foul. So, for doing a hand-drawn like animation as opposed to strictly hand-drawn, basically we're saving a poor animator from drawing every viewable angle of every rotating object. I mean, if you think about it, in this game, like this gun right here, we've got this rotating object that's spinning back and forth. To do that in a 3D or in a hand-drawn animation, you'd be like drawing every single one of those frames. With this aesthetic, we can spin it around and computer generate something that looks hand-drawn. Much easier, much simpler.
Welcome to the Eridium Blight. Before Hyperion, this place was, well, still a crap hole, but it wasn't this bad.
Alright, now we're in the Eridium Blight, which I think is really just kind of a drive-through area, besides a whole bunch of quests that are all around.
So, last night I got a little tipsy and I was thinking about all the unsatisfied customers I've had, so I mailed out some refunds. I don't know what I was thinking. You have to get those checks back from the mailboxes before the auto.
Okay, we'll do a quick job for Marcus, and we'll do it in the bandit and the light runner. That way it's a little faster. Maybe it's not faster. I don't even know. I feel like it's faster. Just seems like a sprier vehicle. Anyway, while we're trying to see if we can get to this first diamond, the 3D engine using lighting to render an object as cartoony from every viewable angle of the object doesn't create the same aesthetic, but it allows for very similar ideas. And so this kind of brings us to the big question: what does cel shading do? What makes it different from other things? So, as I introduced earlier, aesthetic is one of the most important points of analysis in consuming a game. At least that's how a lot of people look at it, which is fine. This is this is why game players put hackles up when they see an aesthetic, such as cel shading, that doesn't please them, because that means they immediately won't enjoy playing the game, or at least that's how it's understood. Some people see cel shading and don't think the game takes itself seriously. Borderlands 2, for example. Personally, when I see the steels and browns of a first-person shooter, I would be wanting to push away from it, because I feel that that aesthetic panders to marketers more than it actually does game players. And then, on top of that, when a game like Spec Ops: The Line comes out that purposely uses that aesthetic to riff on all of its contemporaries, that was originality, or that was originally lost on me, just because I wasn't willing to look into it just based on its aesthetic alone. So, people who hate on Borderlands 2, they lose out. I hate on first-person shooters, I lose out. And it's all because of that taste. Which is a crying shame, really. I mean, I'm definitely not going to shy away and say that I am not a part of this system. Okay, we got our rack wings. Oh, that was so nice of them to come out. Oh, Jeebus. This place is huge. I don't even know if I can get into that place. You know what this totally reminds me of? This is like that kind of endgame random zone that pops out of nowhere. That's like, shit, I just want to kill through this and run through it real quick and get to the end of it. This is like that level 50, level 60 areas of WoW. I'm trying to remember like the plague lands and stuff, where it's just like there's no reason to be here. Oh man. It's just one of those big blown out areas that's like, can we just drive through here? I don't even know how to get up there. I don't know if I can actually get into that area now that I think about it. Crap. Maybe there's like a helicopter I need? I honestly have no idea. Maybe we should go for a different quest for right now.
Okay, look, I need your help. I know what you're thinking.
Thank you, that was what I was thinking. Except it wasn't. I was thinking about puppies.
I built our cottage on the Eridium Blight, and I need you to check on her. Please, make sure everything's okay. This isn't for me, it's for her. Do it for her, please.
Okay, maybe I can get to this quest instead. Or maybe I just am gonna drive up a wall. I'm going to blame the driving controls, and not blame myself at all for being bad directionally. That was the driving's fault. That drove me into the wall, I swear. Okay, so, returning to Borderlands, we have these brightly lit and colored characters, hard, solid outlines on everything, and lots of defined edges. This matches the other aesthetics of the game. Over-the-top gore, a larger-than-life, chaotic planetscape, characters that constantly switch between hyper-serious and hyper-silly, like Zed, for example. It also helps that the stark lines and solid shapes help it stand out against the other first-person shooters it competes with. But that's kind of like a marketing thing, and screw that. We're talking about aesthetic. If this game took itself seriously in its aesthetic, that would mean taking the... I mean, this is kind of out there, but this is taking the ideas of starvation and insanity produced by living in these chaotic desert plains seriously. So, you'd have to take bandits seriously, for instance. Which we definitely don't. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is that the cel-shaded graphics maintain the goofy aesthetic of Borderlands, which allows for the game to create messages making fun of the chaotic violence, the chaotic characters, these over-the-top situations that everyone gets into, even the chaotic gun spawning system. All of these, like, little chaoses, the chaotic things the player can do, the chaotic corporations in the game, and any other little chaoses that are in the game. I mean, it just kind of all matches.
I will pay you to kill yourself. I've got a perfect spot all picked out for you. And you don't want to, that's fine. Call the Hyperion Suicide Prevention Hotline and you'll get nothing. But if you want a huge reward, you jump off that cliff and become my bitch.
Speaking of chaoses, okay, this looks like one that I can actually find my way and get to. I guess I'm gonna go kill myself or not kill myself. I mean, I don't really like how this is phrased, because there's a part of this quest that is understood that, alright, you're gonna come back to life after you do it, but it's still like, dude, are you really gonna, like, create a entire quest about suicide? That's a little bit fucked up. That's like a lot of bit fucked up. Anyways, bigger question for this quest. is that they give you two choices that are equally viable and equally doable and equally, like, in virtually every way, at least as much as possible. And the stuck thing is that I cannot choose both of them. I can only choose one path. And so we're cool, we're here at Lover's Leap, which is also kind of a heinous title for an area. Ugh. Okay, so we can either choose to push a button or we can choose to jump off the cliff. I don't really know what I'm gonna do. I honestly, like, I mean, that's a hard choice. That is a legitimately difficult decision to make. I think I'll just jump. I mean, I don't know. I'm more interested in exploring the idea of jumping off a cliff than I am pushing a button.
Okay. I guess you just killed yourself. Head back to the bounty board and I'll pay you. But, just one second. No matter what happens, I just want you to remember one thing.
Is offering a
You're a
90% off
sellout.
sale
You
on
killed
all
yourself because you paid you to.
spawns.
You're a
This
bitch.
offer expires
All right.
in 3210.
Let's go.
Better luck.
But that's a little mistaken, because it was entirely my choice which one I wanted to do. So you can't blame me for my own decision like that. Close, but no cigar. Whoa, popped up. I like the little pop-ups. I like driving into things. I like driving. Actually, I hate it. I like hating it, but I also hate liking it. I love it. So I guess to close out, like, kind of all this cel-shading talk, I mean, I hope it's kind of helpful to talk about the graphics in a kind of higher level understanding with it. Or even just a lower level, like, you like it, you hate it, whatever. To kind of pull it all together, there's some that think that the graphics of Borderlands are dirty. I mean, maybe even bad. And I'm happy to agree with them to an extent, because Borderlands is a dirty and bad game. Why should the aesthetic not complement Borderlands' best features? It's really good at being dirty and bad in a way that not many other games strive to be. Just for the sake of being different. There's a point to where Borderlands does its thing and does it well. Now, when other games go out of their way to copy another person's style without taking into consideration of what their game's trying to say, that's a little harder to defend. At least Borderlands is doing something different.
Intruders detected.
Oh god, are you kidding me?
Damn it! Dad doesn't want us too close. Rick, got a plan to get to the stockade?
Blow stuff up, that's my plan. Vault Hunter, get the Sawtooth Cauldron.
Oh my god, are we gonna go all the way out of our way just to blow up that bridge? We don't have anything on hand. Not even like, can we just like throw brick at it? Like, projectile brick?
My boys have opened the path to the info stockade, but they'll need some better firepower.
Oh god, they're gonna make me drive all the way back there. They're gonna invite me to an entirely new zone just so I can sprint through it and get the hell out of there. I mean, I don't even actually, where the hell am I even driving? Okay, we're going that way. I need to get over the bridge. Spin. I meant to do that. I will take the responsibility of driving into that because I meant to, because that was my art. I really like the ash effects on the screen in this zone. It sometimes shows up in the other areas as snow or other things, but it's really cool. Looks good. Alright, so we're at Sawtooth Cauldron. I think that'll be the end of this episode. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. If you have any questions about cel-shading or any comments to bring up about it, I would love to hear it. And in the next episode, we're going to dive into Sawtooth. And by dive in, I mean we're just going to rip this shit up apart. So stay tuned, and we will see you in the next episode.